Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel. My name is Michael, and this is the third installment of History of AMC Diecast Cars, and the second installment on specifically the 1/64th. Our first episode was all on the 1/18th scale diecasts. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel and haven't seen the other videos, I definitely recommend you click on the channel link below and go check out our playlist for AMCs. We do way more than just diecast and little AMCs. Own a number of full-size AMCs myself, have lots of videos on those there as well. But you should definitely check out the videos on the diecast stuff if that's what you're here for specifically, so that you could be caught up to this point, because we are now into the modern castings of American motors. Now, I do want to know, this is not Jeep at all. I only do American motors, so this is AMXs, Javelins, things like that, Rebel Machines, Scramblers. So yeah, don't expect to see any Jeeps. When I talk about having the largest, one of the largest AMC collections, that's what I mean, purely AMC. So let's get into it. And we had left off right here with these two. This is the Johnny Lightning AMX Superstock and the 71 through 4 Javelin AMX. So these really are the castings that kicked off the modern era of collecting diecast cars and also having American Motors be a part of it. Now, the Superstock originally came out in the first Dragsters USA collection as the Drag-On Lady. They continued using this casting for quite a few years after that, especially attempting to make streetcar versions like this with this kind of quite hilarious 390 emblem with a white background. But you can see they're really trying here. They've got the stripes with the pinstripes on the top. You know, they're trying to make it big bad orange, but they only did the back bumper. The front one's still chrome and things of that nature. But, you know, it is a pretty neat car. Their sophomore effort, or really the freshman effort in the Muscle Cars USA, though, was the Javelin AMX, which we had just started touching on in the last episode. And this really was a pretty good car. The overall shape of it is actually a lot closer to the Javelin AMX than any of the previous ones. Plus, it had the opening hood and pretty well proportioned and detailed. Now, Johnny Lightning, who's now owned by Auto World, still makes this casting, and every once in a while they trot it out for another round. This particular one actually came out in, I want to say 2021 or 2022 for the Muscle Cars USA release. I think that's the last time it came out. And yeah, they're trying really hard on it, but this thing is aging compared to its competitors, which I'm going to show you in depth. Now, the 71 through 4 Javelin AMX is actually the AMC probably with the most castings from different manufacturers. Matchbox had a go at it back in the 70s, Johnny Lightning in the 90s, Hot Wheels in the 00s, and then Greenlight in the 2010s. And as you can tell, the Greenlight is absolutely the best of the bunch. These things are absolutely amazing. First of all, you've got the first T-top roof for the 71 and 2s since the original Matchbox. That was the big detail that was always missing on both the Johnny Lightning and the Hot Wheels castings. And, well, Greenlight does it right. Here's the really great thing about Greenlight, though. They also make a 73 and 4 version with the flat roof. This casting technology is absolutely amazing. You can see this 71 has the correct taillights. The 73 and 4 has different taillights. And you know what? They also make a regular Javelin, not an AMX. You see the AMXs both have their rear spoilers. The Javelin does not. And same thing with the front. You get that nice inset grille, the twin scoops in it with the bullseye emblem sticking out in the middle versus the flush AMX grills. Plus, notice, no front spoiler, unlike the AMX here. To further show you how crazy Greenlight gets with their Javelin AMXs, check out this 73 Javelin AMX here. Do you notice the interior? That's right, it's a Pierre Cardin car. There's your little Pierre Cardin emblem on the front fender. And look, it's got the stripes in the seats, just like the real car. Now, they didn't do the headliner, obviously, because you can't really see that in there. But the fact that this Hot Wheels size car actually has the correct stripes on the seats with pinstripes is just mind-blowing. These Greenlights are absolutely the nicest collector cars I have ever seen, especially for AMCs. And they have done literally dozens of releases. So no matter what year your Javelin or Javelin AMX is, or what kind of options or colors or whatnot, you are bound to find one that is close or one that really floats your boat. And they do really super fun stuff like this 1971 AMC Javelin Alabama State Police. These cars are infamous. And of course you can get them as a 1/32nd scale slot car from Scalextrics. But this is done totally correctly. It's got the 71 Javelin grille, the no front spoiler, the flat hood, not the cowl hood, but it does have the AMX rear spoiler on it. I talked about year differences, and look, the 72 has the egg crate in the back on the taillights, unlike the 71. So they actually do pay attention to this. They also have a number of these hobby store only exclusives, such as this 72 Javelin AMX pace car from Utica Rome Speedway. A really, really cool casting, very hard to come by. So if you're into hardcore collecting, these are great ones to chase. There's even distributor exclusives. So this particular one is one of 1,000 that you could only get from whichever distributor this was. Don't ask me now because I can't remember all these years later. But it has a lovely pearl white paint job, accurate Magnum 500 wheels on Goodyear tires. It's got the correct taillights for a 71, no egg crate on those. And yeah, it's just a really cool car, only 1,000 made. They also did a series of these Black Bandit collections. These were totally blacked out cars, including black wheels, very modern wheels on here, making a hot rod looking car, something very Restomod. You could see it actually has a flat black stripe on the side. You could see it there in the quarter panel and along the doors. And look, even up on the hood, a flat black T-stripe on the gloss black paint. I love that they blacked out the grille and that they got the bumpers black too. It's just a really cool look. They did a number of these. These are really cool specials. They also have fun ones like this red, white, and blue Javelin AMX. This is a kind of a reverse paint scheme to the actual Penske Donahue Trans Am Javelin, and they moved the white a little whiter, more like the 72 cars that were after Penske raced them when they were with Roy Woods. But yeah, it's kind of a fun street style paint scheme homage to that. But I really love the packaging on it, having the car on the package. And look at the detailing on the package car. You got the red, white, and blue AMX emblem on the grille, the Javelin on the hood, the 401 there on the front fender. They really did a nice job. Whoever is in charge of the Javelins at Greenlights is definitely an actual AMC enthusiast. Oh, and speaking of pace cars, this is one of the newest ones. I just picked this one up last year. This is the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb at the Broadmoor, and there is the official pace car of the 49th Annual Pikes Peak. A really cool 71 AMC Javelin. And yeah, look at that. You got the T-roof on there, this one with the actual vinyl tops. It's got a nice texture to it. It's a little hard to pick up in the camera because of the packaging, but you can absolutely see it with your bare eyes that they used a textured paint on there. Very, very cool. And then we have my favorite, and this is one car that will not be included in my collection when I sell it because this is what my actual Javelin was. This is a 1973 AMC Javelin, and these were Javelins only, not the AMXs. And it was the Trans Am Victory Edition. Really, it was just a decal on the front fender, but what a cool decal it was, celebrating AMC winning the Trans Am Championship in 71 and 72. And this is actually really close to the color of my car. Now, mine was not metallic, it was glossy orange, but the fact that they actually made my car, my real life car, in a package like this when it really wasn't much of anything is pretty cool. So this one is staying. Now, Greenlight does more than just Javelins. They also have a series of Matadors out now, including this 71 four-door Matador for the Tri-Counties Bonding Company on this particular one. But I've seen some airport taxis, some police cars and things like that, and some other years popping up. And who knows if they will modify this casting to make Ambassador versions, four-door Rebels, things like that. But it's really cool that they are doing other AMCs as well. Now, I want to rewind just a second here and go back to Hot Wheels, because we talked about the Hot Wheels casting coming out in both Part 1 and now. And yeah, this is a really cool casting. It's supposed to be a 71 Javelin AMX. I do like that they had the 71 style T-stripe on here originally instead of the later model one that's got the swoop backs that everybody uses. But, you know, obviously the flat hood and all that stuff. Hot Wheels makes a completely different version of this car in their Car Culture Premium Collections. That is actually a Trans Am Javelin. Now, I do have this in the proper Trans Am versions as well, which was, like I said, is not going to be included in the sale, but this one is. This is from their 50th anniversary favorites collection, and it's a pretty cool homage paint scheme. But yeah, you can see the casting is completely different. It has the correct squared off rear wheel well, and both wheel wells are much higher. They are higher than the body line, like the real Penske cars. You got the side exhausts coming out both sides, the full roll cage, and the little air ducts. Those are not mirrors. Those are the air ducts that go into the driver's compartment on the real car. So this is a really cool casting. So Hot Wheels actually with two completely different castings for the Javelin AMX. Now, Hot Wheels' other big casting at the moment is this, the AMC Rebel machine from 1970. It's come out in premium collections only. They haven't ever released it as a dollar car yet, but it's come out in some pretty cool, I think these are like the $3 to $5 range cars. They're not quite to the Car Culture. And then they've now done two different Car Culture Team Transport type double pack things with the Rebel machines, which really is a pretty cool thing. This is the original version, the Team Transport, with this really cool bull-nosed transporter. It says Rebel Machine on it, and has a really cool drag car version of the Rebel Machine with great big giant wheels in the back and really cool artwork to go with it. This has been one of my favorite releases that have been done for AMCs. Now, there's also a brand new 2-pack that just came out right now in early 2025 that has a Rebel machine in very much the same decals as the one I just showed you, and a Javelin AMX, which is actually based on their Trans Am version. I haven't got my hands on one yet, but that one is literally out in stores right now. But of course, if we're talking about Rebel machines, we have to talk about the Johnny Lightning version. These came out and they were absolutely amazing. They have the cross ram intake from the Superstock AMX on there. Really, really accurate casting, really well detailed and proportioned. And this is from the original run in the 2000s. And as you can see, they're still making them in the 2020s. This one is from 2016, but you are still getting new colors out just about every year. And yeah, this casting absolutely holds up. And as they continue refining the tampo process for the decorations on it, you're getting really nice results. And of course, obviously available in the solid colors as well. Now let's talk Rambler Scrambler, or SC Rambler. Johnny Lightning came out with these with a new series called Classic Gold, which was meant to kind of supplement the Muscle Cars USA with other classic American cars that weren't quite muscle cars. Why they chose to put the Scrambler in Classic Gold instead of in Muscle Cars USA, I'll never understand, but it likely has to do with the fact of the original paint schemes. You see, the Muscle Cars USA was famous for coming in different colors. In fact, here are all of the original Javelins, and you can see the whole shtick is that each series you got a new color on the car. And of course, with the Rebel machine, you could do all the different solid colors and then the red, white, and blue. But the Scrambler only came in the two variants, the A scheme and the B scheme. They released the two of them, and then that was that. Now, they have re-released this car a number of times, again with the A scheme or B scheme, just updated with the newer technology, and they have done a couple of race car versions, which have been pretty cool. All right, it's time to talk about the old man of the group now, which is the AMX that we started with, the Johnny Lightning Superstock. That has since been superseded by this all-new casting from Johnny Lightning, which is absolutely perfect. There is not one single thing wrong with this casting. You have the right hood, the right gills, the right body shape, finally, all the right details, the bumpers, the taillights, the interiors, the whole 9 yards. The new Johnny Lightning 68.9 AMXs are absolute perfection. There is a great side-by-side there to show you what I'm talking about on just overall dimensions. I mean, look at the difference between the quarter panels and the taillights on these, and even the shapes of the roof and the windows. So yeah, if you are an AMX fan, you absolutely have to be collecting the Johnny Lightnings. Now, Hot Wheels has actually done a really nice version as well. Theirs has a Superstock scoop on it. I believe they've done a couple of releases now without the hood scoop, but these remain kind of relegated to collector products only, and they remain really, really hard to come by. Hot Wheels really hasn't utilized this casting much. And that brings us to today, to 2025. Hot Wheels is still making the Rebel Machine and AMC Javelin AMXs, as I showed you. Auto World is still re-releasing all of the different Johnny Lightnings, so by all means be following Auto World because they are coming out with new AMC stuff literally every single year. And Matchbox is back in the game now with the 1970 AMC Javelin, the first time we've ever seen a 70 in diecast. And yeah, this car is really, really cool. I did a whole video just on this, so definitely click and go watch through my AMC videos, and you will find this video. It is absolutely worth watching because this is a really, really cool casting. Now, let's talk about all the other stuff. There are lots of different castings of Hornets and Gremlins and Pacers and Ramblers and things like that that have been made over the years. They remain kind of few and far between. They kind of come in spurts. Mini-Max / Fresh Cherries did a whole bunch of both 187th and 164th and 143rd of the Gremlins and Hornets and Pacers, and then they kind of fell off the wayside, and now they're starting to come back. I've seen the Gremlins be re-released lately. Johnny Lightning does the Hornet Fastbacks, mostly because they make them for the James Bond, which they come out with a new version of this car for Man with the Golden Gun about every couple, 3 years. And then yeah, you get a couple of random Hudson Hornets and things of that nature, thanks to the Cars movie and Doc Hudson. You get the Ramblers, like the Rumbler, that was the famous like 90s show car thing. And yeah, just kind of some other castings like that. There's also some newer castings coming out that are really fun. Matchbox, like I said with the Javelin there, they've released a really nice AMC era Jeep Grand Cherokee, which Johnny Lightning has also done. But they also just came out with an Eagle station wagon, which is really rad. So if you're into the more obscure AMCs, things like that, there's definitely things for you coming out. It's never been a better time to be an AMC collector in the diecast space. As I said, there are new cars coming out literally every year. There are new variations coming out. They are all in active production. That is part of why I think I'm getting rid of my collection. When I started collecting AMC diecasts in the 90s, it was because of that first Johnny Lightning release. And that was the first one in 20 years at that point. And so it was actually really, really difficult to collect AMCs. And it took a good couple of decades for them to actually come out with enough and get enough onto the market to get a demand going. But now that demand is really, really high, and people are collecting AMCs like crazy, and they're being released like crazy, and I just can't keep up with it anymore. If I want to keep my collection a complete quote-unquote collection, I've got to be buying like 5-10 green lights a year, a couple of Johnny Lightnings a year, a couple of Hot Wheels premium things a year. They did a Javelin AMX Zinger thing for the Redline Club that's really, really cool, but you know, they were going for like upwards of $100. Same thing with the Red Light Club AMXs. And yeah, then there's those 1/18th scales, which even though they only do 1 or 2 of those a year, they're over $100 brand new. And even trying to find the backlog of the ones that I'm missing, some of those cars are worth upwards of $350 each. So yeah, it's a great thing to collect if it's what you're into, but if you can't afford it or you don't want to keep up with it, yeah, it can get a little overwhelming. Hopefully all of these history videos have helped you in your AMC diecast collecting journey. If you are interested in more than just the diecast, I also have videos out on the AMC slot cars, including the Javelin AMX from Aurora / AFX, and now Johnny Lightning and Auto World, and the original Thunderjet AMX, again also from Aurora, and then later on Johnny Lightning and Auto World. So you could definitely check this out. The next video I will do on AMC collectibles is going to be on the AMC model cars. Now, I'm not going to do promos because I don't collect promos. I don't own any. They're just way, way, way out of my price range and also interest. But I will do all of the AMC scale model cars because I do happen to own just about all of those as well. So if you want to catch that, make sure you click the subscribe button so that you don't miss it when I upload it. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there and have a great time, and I will hopefully catch you in another video. Bye.